Good morning. Welcome to today's New York City Council hearing for the committee.
Webinar started.
Welcome to today's New York City Council hearing for the Committee on Land Use. Please silence all cell phone electronic devices and please do not approach the dais. Chair, we're ready to begin.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the Committee on Land Use. I am Councilmember Rafael Salamanca. I chair this committee. I would like to welcome our esteemed colleagues who have joined us today. We've been joined by Councilmember Rivera, Chair Riley, Majority Whip Brooke Powers, Abreu, Majority Leader Farias, Chair Hanks, and Councilmember Sanchez and Councilmember Powers. I would like to thank Chair Riley and Chair Hanks for their ongoing leadership in our two subcommittees. Today, we are voting on 6 proposals out of the Zoning Subcommittee. First, we will vote to approve the modifications LUs 324 and 325 for Midtown South Mixed Use Plan, also known as MSMX, related to property in Councilmember Bottcher and Councilmember Powers' district in Manhattan. The proposal includes a zoning map amendment to map a number of new mixed light manufacturing and residential districts, including M1-9A/912, M1-8A/R12, and M1-8A/R11 districts. There is a related zoning text amendment to establish these new districts with special district provisions, as well as a map mandatory inclusionary housing area. Chair Riley has explained the need for our specific map and text amendment, which will create approximately 9,500 units of housing, of which approximately 2,850 units will be income-restricted MIH units. We also vote to approve the modifications LUs 339, 340, and 341 for the Lenox Hill Hospital proposal related to property in Councilmember Powers' district in Manhattan. The proposal includes a zoning map and a related zoning text amendment and a zoning special permit, which together will facilitate the modernization and partial redevelopment of an existing healthcare campus, which consists of 10 interconnected buildings, some of which have been situated here since the 1800s, and several of which have not been renovated in decades. Our modifications will reduce the maximum building height along Lexington Avenue, require that at least 95% of the development site be used as a hospital in order to qualify for the special permit, and facilitate ground floor changes related to the ambulance access across the Thorough Block site and locating the mother-baby access off of Park Avenue. We will also vote to approve the modifications LUs 331 and 332 for the 47 Hall rezoning proposal related to property in Councilmember Hudson's district in Brooklyn. The proposal includes a zoning map and a zoning text amendment to facilitate the development of approximately 611 apartments, of which between 153 to 183 will be permanently affordable. Our modifications will be to remove MIH option 2 and to deepen the required level of affordability. We will also vote to approve LUs 333 and 334 regarding the 347 Flushing Avenue rezoning proposal related to property in Councilmember Ressler's district in Brooklyn. The proposal includes a zoning map and a related zoning text amendment, which together will facilitate a new building near the Brooklyn Navy Yard, as well as legalize an existing non-conforming building. We will vote to approve with modifications LUs 335 and 336 for the 236 Gold Street rezoning proposal. The proposal includes a zoning map and a zoning text amendment which would facilitate the development of a new mixed-use residential building with approximately 114 units, of which approximately 30 would be permanently affordable. A modification will be to remove MIH option 2. Finally, we will vote to approve the modification LUs 337 and 338 for the 42-11 30th Avenue rezoning proposal related to property in Councilmember Caban's district in Queens. The proposal consists of a zoning map amendment and related zoning text amendment, which together will facilitate the development of a mixed-use residential building with approximately 32 apartments, including 8 units as permanently affordable. A modification will be to remove MIH option 2 and to add MIH option 1. Now I would like to recognize any of my colleagues who would like to make any remarks. But before that, I want to recognize that we've been joined by Councilmember Abreu and Councilmember Moya. I just want to make one quick correction regarding the property in Councilmember Caban's district. Our modifications will be to remove MIH option 2 and to add MIH option 3. We've also been joined by Councilmember Hudson. Are there any members who wish to make remarks? I would like to recognize Councilmember Powers.
Thank you. And first, I just want to start with a very brief acknowledgement that we'll be voting on Midtown South rezoning today, which I've been working on endlessly with Councilmember Botcher to redevelop and the Midtown South area, which is at this point an area that only allows for commercial and manufacturing with no residential. And this plan would be a transformative plan to bring 10,000 new homes, 3,000 new affordable homes to the Midtown South area with, I think, some new recent developments that would allow us to be able to preserve the fashion and garment industry, which are looking for a long-term future and home in that area. So I ask and encourage my colleagues to vote aye on that. I want to make some remarks regarding the Lenox Hill rezoning here as well. I want to first thank all the members of the community, some who are here today and many who are not, who have worked with us and shared feedback and worked tirelessly to make this plan better since it originally started. I want to thank all the land use staff. I want to thank Community Board 8 and the Lenox Hill team, as well as my staff, to Carolyn, to Ben, who have worked long hours and tirelessly to get us here today. Just to take us back, after extensive community input and negotiations, I believe we've accomplished a proposal that better delivers on two aims that I've discussed throughout this process: to modernize critical healthcare services and to preserve hospital beds here in New York City and in Manhattan, while also reducing both the height and a construction timeline of the project that will be moving forward. Early versions of this proposal did not work for the community, and we can review where we started. In 2019, the original proposal was a 516-foot hospital with a 490-foot residential tower. Many of us and many in the community agreed this was out of scale, and we convened a task force with the borough president, then borough president, to suggest a more suitable plan. We came to a new plan, or we were given a new plan of a 436-foot hospital and removing the Park Avenue component. That wasn't enough, and we continued to ask them to justify that footprint of the building. And I want to ensure everyone that Northwell and the folks working on this were held accountable at every step. That's why we're able here to announce a final plan to decrease the size of the footprint and the construction timeline without reducing healthcare capacity or beds. The new hospital will be 370 feet on Lexington, a 146-foot reduction from the original proposal, and a 66-foot reduction from the most recent proposal. When comparing the height of the hospitals to the others on the east side, this would still be amongst the smallest. There are obviously reasonable concerns about living in a construction zone, the noise, the dust, and the disruption in a quiet residential neighborhood. That's why it was important that we continue to focus as well on the construction timeline and to continue to compress that timeline from 11 years to now 5.5 external and 2.5 if internal, with less audible work. It's also not vital not to lose sight of the critical purpose of this building: healthcare for patients at their most difficult moments. This renovation would expand the emergency department, upgrade the operating rooms, and convert 450 shared rooms to single bedrooms, offering more privacy and reducing infection risks. Plan also creates a new mother-baby hospital, creating a dedicated area for mothers and newborns, while also addressing issues like ambulance traffic being moved off the street with a new ambulance bay to help relieve traffic in this area. Beyond those improvements, we have secured community benefits package to help revitalize the neighborhood and address issues for generations to come, including a $20 million new subway entrance to make a southbound platform fully ADA accessible, on a $5 million commitment towards accessibility improvements and repairs on the northbound side, and another $2.5 million benefits to include sanitation services, beautification and tree upgrades, upgrades to community education services, outreach programs, and much more. Let there be no confusion. This process is difficult. In this case, it's been years of discussion amongst parties to find a more reasonable path from the original proposal. And I appreciate every single constituent and community member who has spent countless hours with us, and I understand and recognize the challenge of a multi-year construction project. It's also undeniable that we cannot go down the path of a disinvestment and the loss of hospital capacity. We've seen firsthand in Manhattan what it looks like when we lose our hospitals: the loss of emergency services, the loss of health care, the loss of jobs and services, and more. I can name 3 hospitals in my lifetime in my neighborhood that have been lost. This plan better delivers on the needs of the community while also maintaining Lenox Hill's excellent standard of care and ensuring the hospital can continue to serve our city for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Powers. Are there any other members who wish to speak? Seeing none, I will now call for a vote on the following items with the support of the local council members to approve LUs 333 and 334 for the 347 Flushing Avenue, to approve the modifications LUs 324 and 325 related to the MSMX plan, LUs 339, 340, and 341 for the Lenox Hill Hospital, LUs 331 and 332 for the 47 Hall Street, LUs 335 and 336 for the 236 Gold Street, and LUs 337 and 338 for the 42-11 30th Avenue. Council, please call the roll.
Good afternoon, William Martin, Committee Clerk. Roll call vote, Committee on Land Use. All items are coupled. Chair Salamanca.
Aye or no?
Farias.
I vote aye on all.
Moya.
I vote aye.
Thank you. Rivera.
I vote aye.
Riley.
Aye.
Brooks Powers.
I vote aye.
Thank you. Abreu.
Aye.
Hanks.
I vote aye.
Hudson.
Permission to explain my vote.
Councilmember Hudson to explain her vote.
Thank you so much, Chair Salamanca. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to give brief remarks on a project in my district located at 47 Hall Street, which has gone through significant changes over the past few years. Following the pandemic, the newly built commercial campus at 47 Hall remained largely vacant for years as businesses flirted with flexible work arrangements and downsized their commercial footprint. Then the city contracted to house thousands of recently arrived migrants and asylum seekers at this site. With this application, this space will finally maximize its potential and secure additional housing in the high-demand neighborhood of Clinton Hill. As a council member representing one of the districts that secured the most affordable housing in the entire city, I'm proud to bring yet another 620 units of mixed-income housing, including more than 150 units that are permanently affordable at an average of 60% of the area median income. This project will create 530 construction jobs and 350 permanent jobs on site, and includes commitments from the developer to use 32 BJ building service workers at the project and ensure robust participation of the construction trades. It will also include publicly accessible open space and retail spaces targeted toward local businesses. This project will convert an existing commercial facility into a residential one, ensuring we are using all tools at our disposal to tackle our housing crisis and adding to the more than 17,000 units from office conversions in the pipeline across the 5 boroughs. While this project did not bring everything we wanted, I look forward to working with my colleagues across all levels of government to secure greater labor participation, in all projects, including in my own district. Thank you. And I vote aye.
Thank you. Sanchez.
Aye, thank you.
With a vote of 10 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and no abstentions, all items have been adopted as described by the chair. Mr. Chair, that is a full committee.
Thank you. That concludes today's business. I would like to thank the members of the public, my colleagues, land use, and other council staff, and the Sergeant at Arms for attending today's meeting. This meeting is hereby adjourned.